It has been sort of a rollicking day and a rollicking few days of news, particularly when it comes to all the scandal stuff. This is one of those days. Sometimes, some nights, everything just happens all at once. One of these nights, I'm going to be able to open the show. Thanks, Chris. Thanks to you at home for joining us this hour. And then I'm not going to have to say, hey, we're in the middle of breaking news and we're about to do things in a way that's unusual and I had to throw away half the show. Yeah, it's one of those days. Just another previously unimaginable Tuesday in today's news, right? Enough going on for you? Have you been able to keep up with each successive bombshell in today's news? Do you have a colleague a beloved colleague that you can run into in the halls at work when each news story breaks so you can say, what does this one mean? It's a remarkable day today. It was clear through the end of last week, all through this weekend and through today, that the news is just persistently off its axis right now. Remember normal weekends, right? This weekend, I actually tried to pretend that things are normal now. Clearly, they are not. It has been a remarkable day. There's a lot going on tonight, and there's a lot going on coming up. Some big news for your soul. This has been another one of those days when news has been breaking in big waves, big crashing waves all afternoon and into this evening. This has turned out to be one of those news cycles this week when it's hard to keep up. Lots of news to cover tonight. This is a busy news night. It has been a busy news day. There's a lot going on. Tonight, I promise I will hold it together better than I did last night. What a weird day today was in the news. There's a lot to get to tonight. This was an unexpectedly busy news day. And I realize that I often say that it was a very, very busy news day today. The reason that was unexpected today is because today was a different kind of day than we ever have in this country. We should change the name of the last day of the work week to Newsday instead of Friday. It's annoying. We here on this show are having a big news night tonight that we have been prepping for the past 2 days. We knew in advance that this was going to be a week with an impossible amount of news in it. That is definitely proving to be the case, but congratulations, you have reached the top of the mountain. All right, as Chris said, time has lost meaning. Things are going both faster and slower than it seems like they ought to. But today was a historic day for a million different reasons. And let's try to make some sense of it together. It's election night! Yay! It is going to be a big newsy weekend, I have to let you know. There's been a lot of news today. There's been a lot of news in the past couple of days. This is sort of an important moment, I think, that we are in. So did I not say there was going to be a ton of news this week? Let's just jump right in because a lot has happened today. Thanks to you at home for joining us this hour. This is a big night. This is a live news show right now. It's Friday night. In this era in American news and politics, that means you should keep your tray table stowed and your seat in an upright position because anything could happen. All right, first, deep breath. Not that deep. This was a big day. A very busy news day today. We've got sort of a packed show tonight, lots going on. This is one of those nights when there are more major news stories going on simultaneously than it is possible to process all at once. There's a lot of news, a lot to get to tonight. I will say this is going to be sort of an interesting show tonight. There are a number of things that happened in important national news today that frankly, I'm not quite sure how to talk about them. Today has been an unbelievably busy day in the news.
Rachel has the night off. I'm more distraught than you are. We'll get through this together. We have a ton of news to get to.
So usually when I start this show at 9 p.m. Eastern, I have a script that I have written because there are things in the news that I would like to tell you about. I don't even really need to say it, right? You already know. You can say it with me now. Had a whole show planned, all sorts of different stuff, guests booked, interviews researched, and then new news broke just before showtime. We had to throw it all up. Yes. Are you tired of winning yet? News days like this at least make it exciting to be back when your job is to try and make sense of the news. It's fun to be away. Boy, is it interesting to be back at work today. There is a lot going on. It is a busy night around here. You know how I always say, like, oh, we had a whole show plan and we just threw it out? I literally just threw out the show while I was in the makeup chair. And if you know anything about me, I don't spend all that much time in the makeup chair. So there's a lot going on in the news right now. We've changed up the order of our show like 17 times just in the last hour and a half. I find this comforting. As a news story, this is just kind of perfect. The way like a pecan pie is perfect, or a sunrise, right? Where do you want to start tonight? You will have noticed as the day went on and into this evening, there has been a ton of news and an increasing amount of news on any given day of chaos in this administration. On any given day of, this has never happened before, and we never planned for what happens after this point because we always thought if we hit this point, it would be the end. It is Friday, so that means the news has gone a little nuts again. I feel like there is nothing predictable about American news cycles anymore, other than the fact that reliably every Friday night, the cuckoo pops out of the clock. Welcome to another totally normal weekday in the Donald J. Trump presidency. Totally normal day, right? I come to Washington for 2 days, and look what happens. I feel like I have to get out of here before the earth cracks open and swallows this place whole. Was it me? Started off as kind of a sleepy news day. But then all HE double hockey sticks broke out this afternoon and into tonight, and now it has turned into another totally nuts news day. How was your day? Fine, fine. How was yours? Nothing much doing. Not much in the news. Kind of a quiet night. There's lots going on. It's a lot that we're following today and into tonight. I want to say thanks to the news gods for keeping things suitably insane. So there's a real reason for me to be here. Trying to make sense of what's going on. Tonight, it is a good night that you are watching the news, because we are all the recipients tonight of what amounts to a fairly epic pre-holiday nighttime news dump. It is hard to know where to start on a night like this, after a day like this, in a world like this. Boy, there's a lot going on, right? Lots of news to get to today. You knew this news week was going to be crazy. We sort of knew that Friday was going to be crazy. We didn't know it was going to be this crazy. It's one of those days. We had the news meeting for the show like early afternoon today, finished the news meeting, planned the whole show, and then I just turned and looked at my producers and all the staff who works on my show, and I said, doesn't it feel like a whole bunch of other stuff is about to break? We have a lot to get to tonight, really a lot to get to over the course of this hour. Boy, has there been a lot of news today. Whole bunch of news today. Thanks to you at home for joining us this hour. So has there been enough news for you today, or would you like some more? There has never before been a time in U.S. history when you could start a brief rundown of the day's news with words anywhere close to the kinds of words we use now to run down the news, right? Today's news has been full of all sorts of surprises. And because it's Friday, for all the other things it's Friday. And as we have learned in this era, anything can happen on a Friday night at any moment. Things happen, beat up, roll off. I'm trying to be a duck about this. I'm trying to be a Zen duck. Beat up, roll off. Just let it go. This is one of those Friday nights when so many different kinds of big news stories are happening and developing all at once. This is going to be a busy show. There is a lot going on. Not only is today the capstone to what has been a sort of insane week of news, but you can count on the fact that it's not over. This is not the kind of week that ends on Friday night. You can count on the fact that there's going to be a lot of news over this upcoming weekend as well. We shall not rest. So it's not over. It's particularly good to have you with us here tonight. There's a lot going on. Busy news day today. If you get the sense that things are a little twang, a little tense right now, look closely fought. But the news does not rest. So here we are. The past 24 hours have been a news cycle with lots of unexpected twists and turns, lots of little plot surprises, unexpected endings. That has made this sort of a fun day to be in the news business as my job, right? Because it's just one of those days where nothing turns out the way people expected it to. It has been a remarkable day of news. One of these nights, we will get to the shore of normal news. We are not yet on that blissful shore.